Well, friends, Jagadhar Rana here. So, the topic of the day is petrochemical insurance. Petrochemical insurance. So, oil drilling, refining, and petrochemicals all involve unique challenges and substantial risk. Underwater oil and gas exploration and drillings are highly complex jobs. So for this, insurance coverage for on and offshore property, offshore fixed property, and mobile drilling units, as well as loss control. For these, expertise is required for the companies to achieve optimal operational safety. Because with the kind of cutting edge technology, intensive capital, and global market involved in the petrochemical industry, it is one of the most risk averse industries. This is apparent by the large amount of claims the petrochemical industry sees year after year. That is why it is crucial that as a petrochemical business you need an in-depth knowledge on the sector along with a broader understanding of the insurance sector while driven to fully safeguard your unique exposure. So with an experience of providing end-to-end solutions right from the risk identification to risk transfer and handling various large and complex claims of the industry, the expertise is your bet for delivering comprehensive and cost-effective solutions. There is a standard fire and special peril policy which is issued to cover manufacturing risk, storage risk, and miscellaneous blocks relatable under the tariff. And the specialized policies and overseas practices are also important because the potential risk of fire explosion is of a high magnitude in a large complex where bulk quantities of highly inflammable or flammable materials, mostly in liquid, vapor, and gaseous form, are handled. The first version of petrochemical processing and petroleum refining tariff, now known as Petrochemical Tariff, was introduced in the year 1976. Though today no tariff is prevailing now. So this petrochemical tariff was having definition, rating procedures, application of loading and discounts, distances between plants and tank farms, utilities, mutual aid schemes, silent rates. Because the regulations for electrical installation, fire and explosion protection system, these were there in. So standard fire and special peril policy used to be issued to cover manufacturing risk, storage risk, and miscellaneous blocks relatable under Petrochemical Tariff 2001. This policy can be issued to petrochemical plants, petrochemical refinery plants including sulfur recovery, fertilizer plants with feedstock like naphtha, natural gas, LPG, bottling plants, urea, ammonia synthesis plants, ammonia plant driving its hydrogen supply by electrolysis of water, tankage, piping, utilities, auxiliaries, and miscellaneous buildings, loading and unloading areas situated in the premises, the non-petrochemical plants located in petrochemical complexes. This tariff was also applicable to the risk using Class A and Class B hydrocarbon natural gas as basic raw materials, where the total sum insured in one compound or complex exceeds rupees 50 crores, and the sum insured of plants using hydrocarbon Class A and Class B natural gas as basic raw material is in excess of 35% of the total sum insured of the risk. So there were certain type of risk which were excluded from this coverage of the petrochemical tariff, like plants where basic raw materials are not hydrocarbon, although the units constituting the plant may be manufacturing hydrocarbon or further processing them to make a final product. Bottling plant of LPG and similar materials located outside the refinery premises. The minimum requirement for granting cover was that fire protection equipments with minimum condition of pumping capacity and discharge pressure and 2 hours water supply for the pumping capacity was must. Non-petrochemical plants which were constructed prior to 1196 and do not comply with the above warranty were exempted from them. All hazardous storage areas and tank farms were protected by hydrant services. Electrical installations throughout the premises to comply with the rules laid down by TAC. All processes, equipments and storage vessels should be continuously electrically burned and grounded to give adequate protection against lightning and for safe distribution of static discharge. All concrete structures and buildings and tankers should be adequately protected against lightning hazard. Appropriate warranties are to be inserted to ensure compliance with the requirements. So the petrochemical tariff prescribes additional warranties also. That the premises in which the plant is situated is enclosed completely from all sides by fencing and or boundary walls. All roads essential for fire lighting or fire fighting around plants, tankage storage area and utilities are of a minimum of 6 km width. The process in operation is a proven process with adequate experience in commercial production beyond pilot plant stage. Proven process is a process in which chemical reaction involved and major equipment installed have been in operation on a commercial scale of same or higher size. In it, at least one installation elsewhere in the world or the plant should have completed a satisfactory run of the at least 5 years. So no tank used for storing class A and B products has a storage capacity exceeding 30,000 kiloliters, K-liters. So classification of flammable material is in the class of products flashpoints. So for example, class A below and up to 230 Celsius. Class B above 230 Celsius and up to 650 Celsius. Class C above 650 Celsius and up to 93.0 C Celsius or say 930 Celsius. And class D above 930 Celsius. So in petrochemical policy, discount of the basic rates may be given for superior features if the given warranties are complied. Silent risk is deemed silent only if all the hydrocarbon, flammable materials, combustible materials have been removed and it has been purged before the inspection of silent period and would continue to be so throughout the silent period. So the plant is thus completely empty of hydrocarbon, flammable materials, combustible materials and is completely out of the use the silent period excluding the period required to purge or to clean the plant or the period of a startup shall at least a continuous period of 60 days. So the basic rate for each petrochemical plant is arrived at on the basis of the properties of chemicals, quantity of flammable material handled, type of each identifiable process or operation, temperature and pressure, and material of construction. So basic rate for process operation equipment is based on final processes. Hazard factor from 1 to 5.25 basic rate for process operations equipment is based on applicable material factor from 4 to 41 for storage tanks, utilities, piping, miscellaneous buildings, LPG bottling plants, and non-petrochemical plants and silent risk. Separate rates are given in the petrochemical tariff subject to warranties for non-compliances. So each equipment of the plant and process unit is evaluated to arrive at the fire and explosion hazard factor. Now the equipment with the highest hazard factor is identified as the basis for further loading for inferior features like absence of emergency power, supply for critical equipment, and discount for superior features like fireproofing of structural steel and equipment supports, fire protection system, etc. For the fire and explosion rate for each plant after application of all loading and discount should neither be less than 65% of the basic rate, nor shall it be more than 165% of the basic rate. So loading is added to the fire and explosion rate to obtain the package rate chargeable for the risk of right strike, malicious terrorism and terrorism damage, aircraft damage and impact damage. There is a excess, compulsory excess. The insurance does not cover 5% of the claim amount subject to minimum of rupees 5 lakh, resulting from each and every loss in material damage insurance for all perils. So in petrochemical policy, excess is applicable per event and per insured, while fixing discount for the compatible in addition to the amount of volatility deductible excess opted. So the committee will take into account the maximum probable loss figures and fire protection and prevention measures. The discount granted will be valid for a period of 1 year. The plant must be within 10 km distance from the most distant point. Certain conditions have to be complied with. For mutual aid scheme regulations, a permanent office for the secretariat with the necessary staff, a full-time permanent secretary having a background in firefighting relevant to types of industries are included in the scheme. Call procedure in case of an emergency is laid down and frequent exercise and test would be necessary. So the members must have portable firefighting appliances, mobile fire pump of at least 4000 GSM capacity, fire hydrant system, stock of foam compound as per rule 7.8 of fire protection manual, and fire and explosion safety of the plant and extension should preferably be checked every 6 months, but at least annually by using audit system and utilizing check lists where appropriate. Target markets are oil refining, gasoline plants, terminal operations, oil lease properties, compressor stations, pipelines, coal gasifications, synthetic fuel, oil shade, and tar sands, offshore drilling, and workover rigs. As far as gas is concerned, LPG and LNG facilities, industrial gases, underground gas storage, gas terminals, petrochemical and chemical, ammonia, methanol, synthetic fertilizer plants, sand gas plants, various petrochemical and chemical operations, petroceuticals, manufacturing of prescription drugs, compounding and packaging of health and beauty aids. So this is all about the petrochemical insurance. Thank you very much.